Welcome back, everybody. Today we're at Mists of Tirna plus 12 on Mythic as Master of Harmony. This is the route I took. It can vary for you. My gear, I'm at 30% versatility because I used the versatility flask and Belladar's Bounty, the food. So on this pool, I waited for them to move up a little bit before I tagged all of them. I will say that I did a poor job of maintaining aggro here. As you'll see right now, some of the spike claws lose aggro on me. I was too focused on the villager that I started losing threat here. Luckily that chi wave kind of brought him back, but the healer was really good at keeping up the enhancement Shami topped off. He carried the DPS, as you can see, doing nearly 10 million overall DPS there. It's kind of crazy. Cleaned them out real fast. Okay, for this part, it's important that you use your paralysis and then Ring of Peace before anybody moves ahead of you. If they move ahead of you, they will draw aggro once the paralysis wears off. So let your group know that before the pull, before the run, actually, just so they can keep it in mind. But like a lot of people don't know that because I wiped on 10s and 11s because of that specific little pull there. I think the shaman thought that I was going to pull those two big ads as well with this, but it's my first time doing this in the 12 and I didn't want to play it too aggressively, so I thought that I'd be a little bit more safer and just pull what was here for now. Besides, the DPS was doing really good, so I didn't have to worry too much about it. Here I had to move away just so I could kite them for a bit while I tag these two big ones.
Watch your feet.
You want to constantly move, you don't want to stop too often with these, just because they drop those pools under you, and those slow you besides doing damage to you. Here what I'm doing is I'm kiting him into the little cove where you eat the mushrooms for the buff. As you'll see right now, I'm trying to take my time, but also not move too slow. There I get caught with the AoE.
Watch your feet.
It's too far away.
I'll tank and kite them around the perimeter, just so that if anybody is behind them, they have some time to move out. And again, the shaman really carried this. His DPS was probably twice as much as the second person. So it was a 6-man group at this point, I feel, because he did a lot of damage. So the tasty mushroom over there gives you 10% stamina, and the savory one gives you 10% agility. I take the 10% agility just because it scales with a lot more things, like my Celestial Brew, Stagger. So we'll always go for agility. The good thing about this group was that they were interrupting really well. I didn't have to worry too much about it, but we were interrupting so well that this boss, I was able to move him around after this AoE, as you'll see right now. So I didn't have a hard time, which is what I normally have a hard time with, kiting this boss around, because I can only interrupt so much. Charmer Totem again, amazing here.
Watch your step.
I started moving ahead because I knew that we had a ranged interrupt there, so I wasn't too worried about it. I just wanted to get into a better position. And here we lusted because we were getting him to 20%. We dropped him from 91%, I think, down to 35. And again, the shaman DPS is just nuts right now. I can see why they're meta. Then again, this shaman did have 14s done already, so this was probably nothing new to him.
Frontal.
Cannot control it. You will
Watch
do
your
my
step.
bidding. Please survive this.
And
Frontal.
again, interrupting, everything went pretty smooth. This fight is pretty much straightforward. We didn't really have anything to worry about. We had everything covered. I think our team comp was really good. It's just that shaman are so good for these
Frontal. Watch your
mythics now.
step.
Survive this.
Watch your feet.
Just moving him around, running him around.
Yearns for your victory, mortals.
I'm not sure who executed him there, but 10 million health, like, oof, crazy. Could have been the druid, maybe.
Yay! More friends are here to play! Come along! It's too far away.
This maze, scary. Just because we want to hope and wish that we don't get the double guardian.
Pull ads out.
I know that you can get it up to 2 times.
Pull ads out.
Too far away.
And it's terrifying because you only have so many defensives to rotate for the Anima Slash. So it can be a pain in the neck and it could literally wipe you. But again, heals were good. I was really focusing and rotating my defensives here. As you can see, I had my Molten Furnace trinket saved. That's a 30% damage reduction into my absorbs.
Find your way through the
I had 2 Celestial Brews still. I had everything. Dampen Harm. I had my Elixir of Determination. Everything pretty much. So this was it wasn't so hard. In here I'm pulling everybody out.
Pull ads out.
And again, just the shaman just shredding everything. It's incredible, really.
I need a target. No fooling you.
What's also really helpful here is if your healer knows how to do the maze. This is also another common problem. And it's something that the healers kind of need to learn how to do.
Pull
So
ads
if you
out.
look at our healer, he's moving around towards all of the
Pull ads
little
out.
totems to see where we're going. I'm not sure if he has a weak aura, maybe an add-on. It's probably most likely a weak aura. But he's running towards them while he's healing, and then he's figuring out the route. He spams the solution there into our chat, and we just look for the gateway with the circle.
Pull ads out.
It's too far away.
Pull ads out.
Or it could be triangle. I might have messed up there. Chat's a circle. I think we're gonna go into triangle. Yep.
You did it!
And here's the first room with the first guardian. Okay, so double guardians here. Again, rotating
Defensive.
cooldowns. I
Defensive.
Celestial Brewed pretty late, but I have my Expel Harm and Purify. Stagger was red. And again, I really like Master of Harmony just because you
Defensive.
can get your Purifying Brews back up
Defensive.
really fast with Light Brewing, and you constantly regenning Celestial Brews, so you always have at least one defensive. There I got a little bit low, so I decided to kite away for a little bit. I just didn't want to risk it.
Defensive. Defensive. Defensive.
I need a target.
was going to exploding keg them for the physical damage reduction, but they were dead. Night Blossom is probably the easiest of the three mini bosses you can get here. It's pretty much straight up just single target damage. Triple Bite, just pop a defensive and then cleanse the poison on yourself. And that's pretty much it.
Watch your step. Watch your step.
Here the shaman gets it wrong, I think. Oh no, it's in this room here he gets it wrong. But this is again, it's another easy room. Guardian into just the Shaper and the
Defensive.
Mender. You want to kill the Mender first, just because there we
Pull-outs
interrupted them. He spams a shield on them, and that can be a bit of a pain in the butt. I had to ring a piece of them out of the blue.
Defensive. Defensive.
There I
Pull-outs
used my
out.
diffuse magic, so since Anima Slash is physical and magic damage, it reduced a lot of the damage there. So we have a lot of defensive cooldowns that we can use.
Defensive.
It's just that most of them can be on longer cooldowns and it's harder when you get a back-to-back Guardian pack. It's also part of the reason why I went double tank trinket here. Here I was scared I was gonna die, and the shaman got it wrong. I mean, we were really ahead, as you can see. If you look at my timer on the first boss, we're 6 minutes ahead. So we kind of were pretty confident that we were gonna time it.
You did it! Good guess.
And another double guardian group, so we did get 2 guardian groups
Defensive.
here. Again, scary, but
Defensive.
exploding keg helps with the physical portion. I still take magic damage, but that's fine. And I'm paying attention to what's going on, making sure that we get the Shaper down.
Defensive.
Celestial Brood right
Defensive.
there into a Purify to help mitigate the damage. I got a little bit low, but Expel Harm into Vivify, top me off. Again, Purify. So it's just constantly rotating all
Defensive.
of your defensives. There I was going to
Defensive.
try to cast a Vivify on myself. I thought I had an instant, but I didn't.
Defensive.
Hooray! You're almost there. We're gonna have so much fun.
This one was a little bit scarier
Stay away
because
from
we
lines.
have 3 melee. So we have the Feral Druid,
Don't throw.
the Enhanced Chamois, and myself. So free tag, as you can see right there. We have the CC for it. We have the Entangles.
Stay
We
away
have
from lines.
whatever we need to have for it. But if it spawns in the group and it hits any one of us, it's a wipe.
Stay away from lines.
The other important part here is interrupting the patty cake. It sounds pretty straightforward and it sounds pretty simple, but when you're dragging the boss away, right there, as you can see, dragging the boss away, you're trying to make sure that you don't run into the
Stay away
fox,
from lines.
trying to make sure that nobody gets hit by anything. It can become a little bit overwhelming, so making sure that your priority is the Mistcaller. There I executed the ad just because I wanted to make sure that we got everybody onto the boss,
Stay away
because we
from
were going to
lines.
lust. And that DPS, that shaman, I was in awe the entire time. Everybody else is at 800, 900k, and he's already doubling their damage.
Stay
It's
away from
insane.
lines.
Will you
Interrupt.
play with me? One of us is not like the others. I need to get closer. Out of range.
Just trying to drag the
away
mist
from
caller on
lines.
top just to spawn all of the orbs on the clone, but I mistimed it. There, the Vulpin was getting close to me, and I got a little bit scared. I was gonna try to paralyze it, but I needed to interrupt at the
Stay
same
away
time.
from lines. Interrupt. Stay away from lines.
There, it spawned
Stay
really
away from
close to the
lines.
shaman. I was a little bit too close for comfort, but the other shaman, make sure he got his moving totem down. And this is pretty much it. That was it. We got one more guessing game, and then we just took him down.
Stay away from lines.
Our healing shaman really helped here. For sure, for sure. Just being able to identify these shapes and knowing which one it was that you had to attack,
Stay away from lines.
definitely, definitely helpful.
Interrupt.
We cut a little bit close here because the wolf could have touched any one of us right there, and we would have died. That would have been embarrassing.
Let's do it again.
The time for play has passed. The winds urge us forward.
Rolled into the side of the cliff, lighter than air, double dash. And here I'm paying attention, and we're pretty much ahead. I'm not too worried, but at the same time, I kind of want to play it safe. I'm waiting for the healer.
As the Gorm feast.
And normally I see people skip this pack. I guess it's because it can be a lot of AoE damage, but the shaman was really good DPS, so I figured we could take them all out.
AOE incoming. AOE incoming.
So as soon as they're dead, I'm branching off to the right. I know that I can take all of these and then the two Ravagers that are going to come up. So I know that they're not close by because I didn't see them when I was rolling down there. So to buy my healer time, I stunned all of them.
Watch your step.
Celestial Brew. There I popped the Dampen Harm
Watch your
just for
step.
the defensives. I don't want to, again, don't want to be too risky. There I noticed that they're coming in, so I taunt one and then I Keck smash the other. But again,
Watch your
the
step.
DPS is too strong. This shaman is too strong, and he pulls some of them off. So I'm just waiting for my taunt to come up. I could have used Black Ox statue right there, but I guess I was too focused on just trying to get that one close to us. Here, before moving on, I make sure that one of them dies, execute it, and then they keep going. Again, execute is really good because it resets my stagger if the damage is high. The health that they have when I execute is higher than the stagger that I have. I'm pulling all of them. These little larvas are trying to get away.
Watch your step.
Have to interrupt that regenerative shield there.
Watch your step.
Again, more Reavers. I pull all of them. I use my Molten Furnace trinket there, 30% damage reduction into my absorbs. So again, it's just a lot of defensive that I have to use just to survive because I'm feeling.
Watch your step.
I feel like Brewmasters need a lot of help sometimes, and they can only work with certain healers. So to
AoE
kind of
incoming.
compensate for our lack of survivability, sometimes I have to use these these tank trinkets. I would
Watch
have
your
loved to use
step.
Matt Queen's Mandate just to try and one-shot some of these when they get under 9 million health, but again, I can't. It's hard enough to get into these 12s as a Brewmaster because every other tank is better in terms of survivability, damage. So I wasn't going to risk it. I got an opportunity. I wanted to make sure that we did it well.
AOE incoming. Watch your step.
Trying to focus on the stack horn because I know that's the one that causes the most trouble, especially with the AoE
Watch your
damage.
step.
It's too far away.
Watch your step.
I need to get closer.
Just chain pulling. Our druid died there. I'm not sure how he died. I don't know if
Watch
he
your
got
step.
blasted off. I don't think so. He just probably took too much poison damage.
Watch your step.
I am trying to dispel whoever I can whenever I see a poison debuff, but I'm also not trying to die.
Watch your step. Watch your step. Watch your step.
I need to get closer.
Watch your step.
It's too far away.
So since we got a really good maze, we didn't need to clear a lot. Normally I would have to go and clear some packs on the other side. We only needed to clear one more. I wanted to do the boss first, but then I noticed that we were 3 minutes off from Lust, and the shaman reminds me. So I decide to just go with his plan and then just clear the trash, because he was right. Which turned out to be a very good decision, as you'll see.
AOE incoming. Watch your step. Watch your step. AOE incoming.
And straight into the boss. Making sure that the healer is ready. His mana was good, so we went.
Watch your step.
This is also where I noticed the difference between people who've done 12s and people who do 11s and haven't gotten to these. Because in 11s, normally I have to chase around after the people who have the larvas just to get threat on them and then try to tank them after they lose the fixate. But everybody here was running towards me, and made it a lot easier. I either used my leg sweep or ring of peace to make sure that they didn't get hit, but it was so much easier. Normally I have to be everywhere just to run and get the larva, but here, as you can see, he stacked them up on me, and then I just ring a piece where I saw that he was standing just to get them away from him. It bought him some time while he ran away, and then we went in there and we cleared them out really quick. It's these little things that make a lot of difference in these keys, and I can see now why people say that there's a huge jump from 11s to 12s.
Watch your step.
because a lot of the people focus on certain mechanics that you wouldn't do in previous keys. The other healer standing on me. I
Watch
have
your
my leg
feet.
sweep. I'm just waiting for enough of them to pile up on him so that I can stun them.
Line apart. Pulling in.
And it gives them some time
Run.
to run away as I run away and then run back to DPS them.
It's too far away.
Bring a piece so that they don't hit him.
Watch your step. Watch your feet. Watch your step.
This was a pretty smooth boss fight in comparison to the ones I've done before. It's, it was really, it wasn't
Watch your
nerve wracking.
Watch your feet.
They're all running towards me. He knows that I'm there.
Watch your feet. Run.
So it's easier to go back and then DPS them
Watch your
down or to cleave them. But they're already dead because, again, the shaman DPS. He died, but he gets a res.
Watch your step. Watch your feet.
The other thing about taking battle reses is people sometimes don't know the abilities and they'll take them when there's an AoE ability coming out and they'll get cleaved and die immediately after taking it.
Line apart. Pulling in.
So that's another thing that you kind of have to be aware
I
of.
can't attack that target.
Other than that though, this was pretty easy dungeon.
Far away.
I was surprised because normally I struggle here on an 11.
Watch your steps.
And I imagine it's because
Watch your feet.
I'm not using defenses properly or the healer, but as you can see, everything worked really well. The damage was crazy. And that's Mist of Tirna Sif, plus 12. So I'll see you in the next one, and I hope this helps. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks.